It's been an honor to be the mayor of the city, and it's been a tremendous challenge.
Mayor Jerry Sanders holds his last news conference. Good evening, I'm Dwayne Brown. Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, we'll tell you what he says about his accomplishments and what he really thinks about the job.
And despite a jump in hiring for the holidays, unemployment for young adults is at its highest rate in decades. We'll have some tips on how to land your first career job. But first, a UC San Diego study finds 4 commonly prescribed drugs for dementia patients don't work and have serious side effects. I'm Peggy Pico. Evening Edition starts now.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Erwin Jacobs and by
Outgoing San Diego Mayor Jerry Sanders said his official goodbyes to the media today in his final news conference as mayor. He reflected on 7 years at City Hall. KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr was there and joins us now from the news center. So, Katie, what did Sanders have to say?
He started out by listing some accomplishments, including streamlining city government and getting some major civic projects off the ground. But he says fixing the city's finances is his proudest achievement. Still, Sanders admitted he didn't always like the job of mayor.
You know, people always said, aren't you having a lot of fun? And I said, this is not supposed to be a fun job. You know, I've enjoyed it from the perspective we've been able to get a lot done. But I'm not a politician by nature, not a politician by training. And I found politics to be a relatively difficult, occupation. So I didn't enjoy some of that.
For example, Sanders says even victories left him and his staff feeling like they'd taken a brutal beating. Still, he says he believes his administration accomplished as much as it could during his 7 years in office.
Sounds like he covered a lot. What else did he touch on?
Well, he thanked the city workers who he says have had to work harder and for less money over the years. And he thanked the city council for making difficult choices, even if he always didn't agree with them. But really, he just sort of summed up his time in office.
It's been an honor to be the mayor of the city, and it's been a tremendous challenge. There's been some sleepless nights, but there's also been a tremendous feeling of accomplishment because so many people work so hard to solve these issues.
So what are his immediate plans besides work again?
Well, Sanders says the first thing he'll do after handing over the office to Mayor-elect Bob Filner is have a few beers and get to know his wife again. They're going to take a 3-month trip to Italy, and after that, Sanders will take over as the head of the Regional Chamber of Commerce, which he says will allow him to stay connected to a lot of the projects that got started under his administration.
3 months vacation. Nice. KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr. A former Democratic campaign treasurer has been sentenced to 8 years in prison for defrauding some high-profile clients, including Senator Dianne Feinstein and San Diego Congresswoman Susan Davis. Kindy Durkee pleaded guilty to taking at least $7 million. Prosecutors say she used the money to pay her mortgages, business expenses, even bills from Disneyland and the Los Angeles Dodgers. More prison time for a man who pleaded guilty in the death of a San Diego State student. John Burgess was sentenced to 4 years for possession of ammunition. He was released less than a year ago after serving roughly half of a 5-year sentence in connection with the Donna Joe case. She disappeared in 2007. Burgess had admitted giving her drugs and says she died after taking them. Burgess says he dumped her body in the ocean. There was a dramatic drop in the number of arrests in the county last year. The San Diego Association of Government, SANDAG, says there was an 11% drop in the number of adults arrested in 2011, and juvenile arrests were down 18%, a big factor in the decline. A 90% drop in arrests for marijuana possession. The reason? State law was changed last year, reducing the charge for possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana. More than 500,000 Californians with Anthem Blue Cross are facing a big rate increase. KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg is in the newsroom with the story. So, Kenny, how much does Anthem Blue Cross want to increase premiums, and who will be affected by it?
Well, Blue Cross is talking about raising premiums between 18 and 25%. Now, this would affect individual policyholders with Anthem Blue Cross. In other words, people that have bought insurance on their own that wasn't provided by their company.
And how does Anthem Blue Cross justify this rate increase?
Well, Anthem Blue Cross says it's actually barely breaking even on individual health policies in California. That's a little bit hard to believe when you consider that their parent company, WellPoint, posts billions of dollars in profits every year. But Anthem Blue Cross says even with this rate hike, they're actually going to lose money on individual health plans in California next year.
And what do California officials plan to do about it?
Well, California officials say they're going to review the rate increase request, but there's really nothing they can do about it because California law doesn't allow regulators to control health insurance prices in California. Regulators can do that in 35 other states, but not in California.
And how soon does Blue Cross want to do this?
In February of next year.
KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg. A new study from UC San Diego says commonly prescribed antipsychotic drugs for older adults are not effective and may cause serious side effects. Peggy Pico talks with the lead researcher about how this new information could affect millions of Americans.
There are no FDA-approved drugs for treating mental disorders associated with dementia in older people. So doctors typically prescribe the same medication used to treat schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. But a new study led by my guest, Dr. Dilip Jeste, director of UC San Diego Stein Institute for Research and Aging, found these drugs were not effective, and in some cases they come with serious side effects. Dr. Jeste, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Put this in context for us. Tell us about the mental disorders that are associated with dementia in older adults.
The commonly associated disorders in patients with dementia include psychotic symptoms like delusions, hallucinations, depression, agitation, severe aggression. Those are the more common symptoms.
Okay, so doctors prescribe these drugs, and I want folks to take a look at them. You, in this study, you looked at them for their effectiveness and their side effects. Their brand names are Abilify, Zyprexa, Seroquel, and Risperidol. What did your results find with these 4 drugs? Were they effective?
Unfortunately not. What we found was that these drugs were not effective and they had multiple side effects as a group. In individual patients, some drugs might work, but overall, there was lack of effectiveness and safety.
Before we get to the side effects, did any of these drugs do a little bit better in alleviating symptoms than other, or across the board were they pretty ineffective?
Unfortunately, we did not find significant differences among the drugs. We were hoping that we would find that one drug worked better in some patients, but we could not see that.
Nearly a quarter of the patients in your study developed some serious side effects. What kind of serious side effects are we talking about?
The Food and Drug Administration defines serious adverse events as death, hospitalization, or emergency room visit for a life-threatening condition. So those were the serious adverse events that we saw in about a quarter of the patients.
Were they caused from heart attacks, strokes? I mean, what were these caused from, these trips to the hospital? Did you know? Were you...
One of the common serious side effects was pneumonia. A few of the people had what are called TIAs.
Transischemic attacks or mini strokes.
That's correct. Some people had severe agitation. They became even more psychotic. So those are the side effects for which they needed hospitalization.
Let's talk about the non-serious side effects. Your study found about half of the patients, a little more than half, had a series of non-serious side effects. What were those?
These were general side effects such as diarrhea, vomiting, headache, pain in different parts of the body. There is nothing single or consistent pattern for those non-serious adverse events.
All right. Are any of the pharmaceutical companies, since these drugs are actually off market, as they say, they're being prescribed because there's nothing else out there, is anybody doing some work on trying to get some specific drugs for these dementia patients?
There is a lot of research going on what are called cognitive enhancers for people with dementia.
Cognitive enhancers helping the brain ability.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. So drugs that will improve the cognition of these patients, such as memory problems, but they are not really focused on behavior problems. One hope is that these cognitive enhancers will also affect behavior, but we don't know that yet.
Are there any benefits to taking these drugs in dementia patients, again, not the general population, for these antipsychotics, that do outweigh the risk? Are they good for short-term use, perhaps?
There are patients who have severe psychotic symptoms and where the symptoms can be dangerous to the patient themselves or to others. In such cases, the drugs need to be used. And unfortunately, there are no other drugs that are FDA approved. So use of these drugs in individual patients on a short-term basis is appropriate.
Short-term, less than 2 years or so?
I would say less than a few months.
Oh, okay. Very short-term to maybe
to
prevent a
3 months or
psychotic
so.
episode where somebody might be having acting out issues to hurt themselves or others.
That's correct. So for a few days or a few weeks.
All right. In light of this new information, what should someone do if they themselves or their family member are taking one of these psychotic drugs and they're a dementia patient?
They should talk with their doctor, find out if the doctor thinks that the drugs are working and are useful for that patient. The doctor would have the experience and knowledge about comparing and contrasting these drugs for individual patients. So it is very important to consult the doctor before making any changes.
Okay, and we're going to look at those medications one more time. They're on the screen. These are the 4 medications that you studied. I guess the main thing is to say that the patient should not just stop taking these drugs, correct?
That is correct. Certainly stopping a medication that somebody has been taking for some time can also have some adverse events.
All right, so some interesting work. Dr. Dilip Jastay, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
We've been telling you about legal battles over California's ban on selling foie gras, the fatty liver of a duck or goose. The latest round comes from an animal rights group. PETA says a restaurant in Hermosa Beach is ducking the ban by offering the delicacy for free. Geese and ducks are force-fed through tubes to enlarge their livers. PETA says it's a cruel process. Selling foie gras has been illegal in California since July, but restaurant owners say the ban is too vague and unconstitutional. Airport security requires all passengers to hold on to their bags and not leave them unattended, even when going to the restroom. So imagine the hassle of having to carry around all your possessions 24/7 because you're homeless. It's a common problem on the streets of San Diego and across the country.
If you were to see me walking down the street, 9 out of 10 times you probably wouldn't know I was homeless.
David Steimers came to San Diego from Wisconsin 19 months ago. His hopes of landing a job fell through, and he's been living on the streets ever since. He now volunteers at the Transitional Storage Center downtown, where 300 brown bins keep an estimated 30,000 pounds of homeless possessions off the streets. Steimers likes to travel light and uses his bin to store clothes, shaving cream, toothbrush, and paste, and what he calls his home in a bag.
Literally my closet, my bedding, in a sense, my bathroom, because it's got my toothbrush and comb in it. But whatever you would need in an average day, I'd stick right in here.
The storage center has made a huge difference, especially in the East Village, where many homeless people gather. Nora Cosme is an attorney who works downtown.
People with businesses and storefronts have noticed that people aren't loitering around. Their stuff isn't on the sidewalk, and it really has cleaned up the streets.
Casme is also president of Girls Think Tank, the organization that took over responsibility for the center in June. You may recall the story we did earlier this year when it was called the Waterban Storage Check-In Center, named after David Ross, who handed out bottles of water to people living on the streets. 2/3 of the clients are women and seniors, and 20% are military veterans. The group had to move to a temporary site provided by Father Joe's Village this month. And just like the clients they serve, the Transitional Storage Center is now looking for a home. They got overwhelming support from City Council, along with a $39,000 donation to keep operating through June. The storage center has until the end of the year to find a new permanent home. Girls Think Tank is also seeking approval to provide accessible restrooms for the homeless downtown. San Diego retailers report hiring more holiday workers than they did last year. Unemployment among young adults is at its lowest level in decades, but Peggy Pico discovers there are a few secrets to landing your first job.
A Pew Research Center report recently found just 54% of young adults ages 18 to 24 are working, making it the highest level of unemployment in that age group since 1948. Joining me with some advice on how to find and be fairly paid for your first career job is my guest, Lauren Tanning, co-author of Ramen to Riches, Finding a Job in Your 20s. Lauren, thanks so much for joining us.
You're so welcome.
I have to say, unemployment rates in San Diego are a little more than 8.5%. That kind of makes it a employer's job market. Is that a good thing in any way for young job seekers?
Not really. Okay. You know, if you look at it, an employer who's posting a job, especially on an online job board, is getting hundreds of resumes. And a lot of those people have a ton of experience.
What motivated you and your husband to write this book?
Well, the first book my husband wrote was From Ramen to Riches, Building Wealth in Your 20s. And what we saw there was, who teaches us how to manage our money? Who teaches us how to invest? Who teaches us how to succeed in the world of money? Nobody. And I think there's a similar gap in job hunting. Career services offices at colleges can't cover with a handful of people the thousands of students. And job hunting is different than it used to be. So there's a whole body of knowledge that people in their 20s need to know that nobody's putting out there.
A lot of job seekers, especially young job seekers, will take any job at the Starbucks or wherever to just have work. Outside of starving to death, is this a good idea?
I like your caveat. You know, absolutely, take a job if you have to eat. But no, it's not a good idea. You really need to look at your skills and your passions and what you'd be the best at, and look at companies that you resonate with. So even if you maybe start in a role that's not ideal, it's still a company that you care about what they do and match with their values. You want to at least set yourself up on a path.
Let's go through your 5 keys to success. You have 7 in your book, but let's talk about the top 5 key success. Self-assessment is the first one. Tell me about that.
For every job searcher of any age, but particularly young people, they need to think about, what are my values? Who am I in the world? What is going to make me happy in a job?
And what's the next thing? Not just your kind of values, there's also a passion involved.
Yes, then it's, what am I passionate about? What are my passions all over in my life, in all different parts, but then what areas can directly contribute to a job? So I may be passionate about sports. Well, maybe there's a sports marketing or a sports PR opportunity.
You mentioned that you might be competing against more experienced people with a high unemployment rate. What should young or new graduates or young people do as far as with their experience?
Well, with experience, you really have to look at everything you've done. I mean, I'm talking going back to babysitting and lawn mowing, lifeguarding, and also things that you did that showcase your leadership skills, like any kind of leadership role in a college club or fraternity or sorority. A lot of things, both hard and soft skills, that you can kind of pull out of various experiences.
I was going to say, how do you identify your skills? Because that's one of the top 5.
Yes, you really do look with a microscope at your past and say, okay, what was the skill that I developed out of being a paper boy? Well, you know what I did? I really learned time management, and I really learned deadline management. And then you can put those skills on your resume.
And your book talks a lot about building a network. Why is that important?
Jobs are not gotten through the internet. Some are, but that's only if you stand out amongst those hundreds of resumes. Most young people and most people of any age will get a job through networking. So your network is the people you know and the people they can introduce you to and the people they can introduce you to. And it's your friends, but it's your parents' friends. It's anybody who is willing to help you in your search.
Let's talk about that applying for a job. 20-something-year-olds have grown up on the internet. They are going to sit there and do 8 hours worth of sending out applications. Is that effective?
No. Now, I'm not saying don't do any of it, because if there's jobs that are right up your alley and you're well qualified for, absolutely put in an online resume. But by and large, you're lucky if you even get a response saying, we got your resume and you're not qualified. People are getting flooded. A lot of the senior executives I work with don't even put postings on large online job websites anymore because they get flooded.
Too many responses. All right, for more tips, including the 10 most common mistakes and looking for a job, go to our website, kpbs.org. Lauren Tanney, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you, Peggy.
I'm Ray Suarez. On the next NewsHour, a preview of a key vote on Palestinian statehood coming later in the week at the United Nations. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
The Chargers may be headed for another local TV blackout. They have until tomorrow afternoon to sell enough tickets to avoid it, but at last count there were still thousands of tickets left. It would be the third blackout of the season for the Chargers. The Baseball Hall of Fame ballot is out, and 10 former Padres are on it this time. Here's a look at who they are and the years they wore the Padres uniform. Most are on the Hall of Fame ballot for the first time ever. The exceptions, first baseman Fred McGriff, who's been nominated 3 times, and left fielder Bernie Williams, who's been nominated once before. But what's really drawing attention to this year's ballot is the inclusion of Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and Sammy Sosa, all first-time nominees, and all with records tainted by drug allegations. The Baseball Writers Association of America will announce the results in January. We're expecting rain showers later tonight with the possibility of some scattered showers heading into the weekend. Here's a look at the forecast. The International Rescue Committee has been helping refugee families adjust to life in San Diego for decades, and they've expanded their services this year to include students at a City Heights elementary school. KPBS education reporter Kyla Calvert says the program combines traditional after-school tutoring with outreach to parents.
The school day is over at Marshall Elementary in City Heights, and the campus is quiet. Except for the clamor coming from about 24 students filling one of the trailers at the campus's far back corner. The students are part of a new after-school tutoring program. They've all come to San Diego from refugee camps around the world or are children of refugees. Some come from Thailand, others from Kenya, but wherever they're from, many agree with Chris Da and Binti Moya about why they like coming to this classroom, even on an unseasonably warm fall day like this one, when the room is warm and stuffy.
Because sometimes when you need help, your friend helps you, and right here too, the teacher helps you. The rest of school, you have to do stuff like when you're taking a test, they don't help you, you just have to do it yourself. And here, they help you and stuff like that.
Fourth grader Paulette says aside from help with homework, she looks forward to after-school tutoring because it's more comfortable than her normal classroom.
Because we don't know how to speak English, we don't know people. Now what does she do?
Colleen Krause runs the after-school program for the International Rescue Committee. She says refugee students are more likely to need this kind of one-on-one attention.
When they enter the country, they are often placed according to their age. So they may be entering 5th grade, but they have a much lower skill level.
But she says they need to do more than help students finish their homework.
The children don't get help necessarily at home from their parents because they're English language learners as well. And so just every bit that we can help the child to succeed by giving them extra time reading out loud, extra time just learning how to sound out words and put those words together, and then to critically think about the ideas that they're seeing in a story or things that are happening to them on a daily basis.
The IRC has supported families with preschool-aged and younger children with English as a second language, parenting, and other life skills classes since 1995. But this year, a grant from the San Diego Women's Foundation gave them the opportunity to expand to families with older children. Semu Pa is a Burmese refugee and came to San Diego from Thailand. 2 of her 4 children attend Marshall, and she's getting coaching from IRC in how to get more involved in her children's education, at home and at school.
I really want to learn it.
So right now, I'm learning about how to read to the kids, to the children, and how to write, what to do with the homework.
She says she's also learning about American-style parenting.
If they're not listening,
if they're not following the rules, we have to put them in timeout. No spanking. In Thailand, we have spanking sometimes, so it's different here.
Krause says the plan is for Pa to become a trainer herself.
So she's been learning a lot of the terminology and then how to make a difference in her children's education. And then we're going to take Semupa, and she's going to help train the other parents. But we're hoping that this will be a more culturally sensitive approach, where she gets to try it on and then teach others, okay, this is what worked for me.
Pa says that's exactly why she wanted to be part of getting the program started.
Because I
wanted to help the parents of the future. If I understand English very well and about writing, then I want to teach my friends.
She says she's already helping other parents communicate with their students' teachers and fill out paperwork. Kyla Calvert, KPBS News.
Recapping tonight's top story, San Diego Mayor Jerry Sanders held his final news conference today.
It's been an honor to be the mayor of the city, and it's been a tremendous challenge. There's been some sleepless nights, but there's also been a tremendous feeling of accomplishment because so many people work so hard to solve these issues.
Sanders says fixing the city's finances is his proudest achievement. Bob Filner will be sworn in as mayor on Monday. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. You have a great night.